In this video, we're going to find out, can a cheap and simple tune-up really have an impact on your MPG? This is a 1999 Toyota RAV4 with nearly 200,000 miles, and in this video, we're going to change out a couple of items which we know haven't been changed out in roughly 50,000 miles because we actually bought this from one of our employees and know its history. And Brendan, who is typically on our classics channel, went out and bought some cool stuff.
Yeah, so we are going to give this thing a typical tune-up, which means giving it 4 brand new double platinum Denso spark plugs and a brand new air filter, and we got the premium air filter. So let's see how this makes a difference.
So what we're gonna do is run this RAV4 down our 70 mile an hour MPG test, and then we're gonna put on the tune-up parts and see if that makes a difference and run the same exact loop. So we are filling up here at Sinclair, which is the official fuel provider of TFL, and we're going to use our official 2-click method on both pre-tune and post-tune test runs. So we fill up the tank to 1 click, and then we wait 30 seconds to our 2nd click, and after talking to some automotive engineers, we determined that this is the most accurate way to measure fuel economy, and then of course we take those number of gallons and divide that into the miles driven. So we're going to wait 30 seconds, and then we're going to do another click and hit the road. All right, Brendan, so we are just off the highway here to keep variables to a minimum. So I say 70 miles an hour. We'll drive this RAV4 for 50 to 60 miles, something like that. So we get some readings, and then we're gonna go in that parking lot, do our tune-up. Hopefully don't get kicked out, and we'll do it again.
Sounds good. We're doing miles per gallon, Tommy, so we gotta be a little more gingerly about it, right?
Brendan, I'm just trying to get up to 70 miles an hour, and little Cole here is doing the best he can. All right, there we go. So 70, so we're gonna lock in the cruise and cruise at 70. Now, the thing about these cars, right, is these old RAV4s are small, but the efficiency is not as good as you might expect. I think the EPA rating was like low 20s on the highway. So what do you predict with 3 of us in here, and considering that this is a 24-year-old car at a mile above sea level, what kind of MPG do you think we're gonna do?
Without the tune-up, honestly, I think they were rating them kind of low back then. I would be surprised if we didn't hit 24 miles per gallon.
I think you're being optimistic.
Are you?
I think we're gonna go 20 MPG pre-tune-up and 22 post-tune-up. How about you? What's your post-tune-up guess?
I think post-tune-up we're going to be closer to 25, 26.
25, 26.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be a 1 to 2 miles per gallon increase with the tune-up. That's just my guess.
But if you consider that over a bunch of years of driving,
it adds up. That's for sure.
The fact that we might get those advantages for only $70 for the parts and a few minutes of labor, well, I'm just speculating. We're going to run the pre-loop, and then we're going to do the post-loop and see what happens.
Sounds good. So, Tommy, I noticed this crack is kind of in your line of sight. Is that legal here in Colorado?
Well, it's very distracting, but it is legal because, as I understand it, in Colorado, a crack in a windshield cannot touch 2 separate sides of the windshield. And this one touches one side on the right and then makes a U-turn halfway through, but doesn't touch a second side. Now, I would definitely get this changed, and if we keep this car, we will get this changed immediately. But that's just a fun kind of tidbit about Colorado law there.
Interesting. It's like it knew the law and decided, oh, let's cut back so that we don't we don't break the law.
Yeah, it wanted to stay legal. Now, on this test, we're going to run a little bit of heat here, fan on low, but AC is going to remain off because we don't want to run that AC compressor. And it's about 35 degrees outside right now, but the great thing is we're going to run the first loop and the second loop on the same day, so we're going to eliminate that variable of like wetness on the road or temperature. Brendan, so we're just pulling off the freeway here, so we've gone 30 miles exactly, so that'll be 60 miles round trip, and things are going really well. We've had very little traffic, been maintaining 70 miles an hour on the dot. It's been a good trip.
Yeah, I'd say, for a car from the late 90s, this thing rides pretty great.
I love these older RAV4s. They're some of my favorite affordable cars just because of the size. We're like looking at a car that's probably not much bigger than like a mini Countryman, but you've got these fantastically huge windows, right?
Yeah.
You've got a comfortable seating position for the most part. It's not a high performance machine, that's for sure.
Sure.
But
you have great visibility out of this thing.
Good ground clearance too for tackling those Walmart parking lots or whatever you may be traversing. It's a good little car.
Yeah.
It's a little worn out, this one, but hopefully with a set of spark plugs and maybe a new air filter, we'll be able to see some performance gains.
I think so.
Brendan, we were pulling into the gas station, and I'll verify it on the GPS, but it was a 60-mile trip, which is a cool round number, right? Pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fill this thing up using the same pump, using the same method, and we're going to see how many gallons we use to drive 60 miles, and then we're gonna do some division. Brendan, are you still sticking to your guns on fuel economy?
I think so, although it looked like we used almost a quarter tank of gas just doing that. Is this gas tank really small or what?
It's a combination of 3 people in the car, high altitude maybe, some age. We're gonna see. I think it's not gonna be as good as you expect. We're gonna go 87 with dyno care. And let's see. You got your top stopwatch out? Oh, we're doing less than 60 miles per gallon. That's official. Oh, it might be better than I think.
And there's 30 seconds.
All right, another click. So, the final results. We drove 60 miles and we used 2.316 gallons of fuel. 60 miles divided by 2.316, 25.9.
Not too bad, actually. Even better than I thought it would do.
I'm actually impressed with little Cole here.
Yeah, it did pretty good.
That's pretty good. So now we're going to stick in the spark plugs and the air filter, and we're going to see if we can get any better than 25.9 MPG.
All right.
All right, Brendan, I'm going to start a timer. Let's see how long it takes us to do spark plugs and an air filter. And I am one of the most mechanically incompetent people on the internet, according to the internet. So if I can do this in under 10
right there
minutes.
with you, Tommy. I don't know.
What do you think, 10 minutes?
10? Sure.
Now, these spark plugs you got, these are the Denso double platinums, and they have been gapped up to specification as well. It's okay, I've got Dora the Explorer's first toolkit here, so we've got plenty of stuff to get this swap done, and hopefully we don't get kicked out of this parking lot. And let's see. Moment of truth. Are you ready, sir?
Let's see how black those spark plugs are. How do you think they're going to be when they come out?
Not great.
No?
This is really good TV. All right, let's see.
Compared to a new one. They're not too bad.
They're not the best I've ever seen, but they're not terrible, right?
I've seen worse. You can compare that to a new one.
Look at that shiny new one there. Well, I do have to say this is a fantastically engineered system. Even an idiot like me on a scalding hot engine. I mean, we got this done in maybe 5 minutes, 4 minutes?
Yeah, they made this thing super easy to work on. I can
nice,
see
right?
why people love these old Toyotas.
All right, last thing to do, stick the new air filter in.
Now this is the thing that I think is going to make the biggest difference, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at that. Look at
It's gnarly.
yeah.
That's pretty gnarly. So we're gonna stick this new air filter in there.
Yeah, just such a simple thing that you can do that really helps your engine's performance.
Oh yeah.
Getting that new air filter in there, I think, again, that's going to make the biggest difference between these two.
Look at that. All right. So, ooh, man, that was so fast. Forgot even to stop the timer. It's been 12 minutes. So
You broke your 10-minute barrier.
I broke my 10-minute barrier by 2 minutes, and we only got hassled by one weird guy. So now we're ready to go hit the road. Look, the gas station's right there, so we don't need to do the top up. Literally right there.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Let's do it.
Let's go do it. Well, Brandon, Brendan, I have to say, the car is actually genuinely running smoother after doing the spark plugs.
Yeah, it's just such a simple little maintenance item, but you'd be surprised at the difference that it can make in just the general running of your car.
So we're all topped up. We're going to run the same exact route, the same 60 miles at the same speed under the same weather conditions. Wow, what a day. And we're going to see, do we get any MPG improvements? So we're halfway after doing the little parking lot tune-up, and I don't know what the MPG is because we don't have a computer.
Well, do you have any sort of indicator? Like, you do have a fuel gauge that points at where the fuel is. Is it in a similar spot, a little bit more, a little bit less?
Good description.
Any little hint?
Good description of a fuel gauge. No, it's a very 1990s fuel gauge, so it gives you around the same zip code of what the fuel is, but not really a precise indicator.
Okay, well, I guess we won't know until we know then.
We won't know until we know. All right, Brendan, made it back. Same exact distance. Prediction, last time 25.9, what are you predicting this time?
I'm gonna think that we probably hit about 27 miles per gallon.
I'm gonna be more optimistic. 29 MPG out of Cole.
29.
Watch this. Watch this. Okay, Brendan, you got the timer?
I got the timer.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's still going.
Ooh, let's start it.
A little bit better.
28, 29, 30 now.
All right.
Squirt of gas. So we drove 60 miles divided by 2.126 gallons. 28.
28.2.
Wow, is that right?
That's really good.
60 miles divided by 2.126, 28.2.
Wow.
So that's an improvement of 26.9, 27.9, like 2.3 miles per gallon.
Wow, all for just like a $70 tune-up.
Yep, and that's over the course of 60 miles, and I'm really impressed with that. So I'd say spend the 70 bucks, spend 15 minutes doing it yourself, and see some pretty big improvements.
Wait, hang on, let me do some math. If you were to drive 10,000 miles, how much of a difference is that, and how many gallons would you say?
All right, do that math. So if you're interested in filling up your car, as many of you are, I would suggest Sinclair. It's a fantastic fuel station. They use DynoCare in the fuel, and you can save money by paying with the DynoPay app on your phone, which is really great. So have you learned anything?
112 bucks.
Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. A huge thank you to Brendan and Case behind the camera, killing it as always. We'll see you on the next video.